Hi there! In today's video I will continue my custom ChatGPT project that I started in the previous video. If you didn't see that, you can click up here to watch that. So anyway, I created this ChatGPT-like chatbot that uses the OpenAI GPT-3 API. So if I start this program here, I get this beautiful little chatbot here. And then I can ask it programming related questions. So I can say, how do I loop through an array in Rust? And then it will think for a while and then hopefully it will tell me the answer. You can use the for loop to iterate through each element of an array in Rust. Here's an example of how you do it. And then it shows the code example. Now this is great, and it's not quite as good as ChatGPT, but it's still very good, I would say. But today I would like to make it do something that ChatGPT cannot do, and that is search the internet. Google, to be exact. So I want it to be able to fetch the Google search results and then pick a page there and get the contents of that page and then formulate the response based on that. So how can we do that? Now let's actually go to ChatGPT first and see how it works. So if I ask ChatGPT, for example, what's the weather like in San Francisco? And now I have to know how to write San Francisco. It will say, I'm sorry, I don't have the current weather information for San Francisco, but the average temperature in February ranges from 9 to 14 degrees Celsius. Now, I want to know this. I really want to know the current weather in San Francisco. Now, of course, I can Google it, but I want ChatGPT to tell me. I don't want to have to Google it myself. ChatGPT should do it. Or I should be able to ask something like, what is the latest version of PHP, which is 8.2.2 at the moment. As of my knowledge cutoff of 2021, the latest stable version is 8.1.2, released on January 25th, 2021. So it doesn't know recent things. So how can we make my own ChatGPT or ChatWTF do that? Let me first change it so that it will not be a programming chatbot, but a general chatbot. So how this works here is that I have this default prompt that right now is act as an AI mentor for a programmer by answering the questions provided, and so on. So I will replace this, or should I just add to it? Maybe I add, you can also answer other questions related to anything. Please provide a friendly and thorough explanation to questions. Let's see if that does the trick. So let's say I ask, how do you make espresso coffee? With 2 E's. Should be 2 E's, but I misspelled it. To make a satisfying espresso, you'll need an espresso machine, freshly ground espresso beans, and hot water. Start by measuring out 2 tablespoons of the beans into the portafilter. Then use a tamper to press down the beans to ensure that they are evenly ground. After that, put the portafilter and so on. Well, that's good. How much does coffee cost? Why do I keep spelling it with 1 E? The cost of coffee depends on a few factors, such as the type of beans used, the brand, and the quality. Okay, so let's try something ChatGPT-like. Create a poem about the PHP programming language. Now it remembers the chat history and it's trying to use that as context. The programmer sought to find a way to learn the power of PHP. I said brewing coffee was the key to fuel coding. No need to flee for a loop through an array. The forward will help you find what you sought. Then 2 tablespoons of beans tampered down should brew a delicious cup of espresso. Without a frown, the cost of coffee may vary. Do not fear, but no matter the cost, the code will be here. Coding and coffee, a vital pair with PHP. Skills will be great. Repair. What? Okay, so now we have a working ChatGPT. That is not quite as good as ChatGPT, but still, it works. So how do we make it search Google? Now, I think the way I want to do this is when I ask a question, instead of telling the answer directly, I will send it a prompt. If I wanted to know this, what would you search on Google? And then when I get that response, then I will perform the search from Google and then return the results. And then I will send another prompt that says, if I wanted to know this, which will be my question, which of these Google results should I click? And then when I get that answer, then I will fetch that specific result from Google and then give it to ChatGPT again and then ask the question, according to this information on this website, what is the answer to this question? Now, maybe that's too many prompts and steps. So maybe I will just ask it, what should I Google? And then get the first result from Google or something like that. So how do we do this? How do we fetch the Google results? That's the first thing. Let's do that. I think that's not a trivial task. Now, if I go to Google and I search for something, now I get this query in the address bar, /search $Q equals something. So if I just use this, I get the results. So you would think that we could just fetch this URL and get the results, but I don't think it's gonna work. Let's try it anyway. Let's curl this and see what happens. We get some kind of an error. Your client does not have permission to get the URL from this server. So of course they have denied this from us because everybody would be using Google like this. But now how is it that the browser will get it? So what if I go to inspect here and network and preserve log and I go here again. Then up here we are searching and we are sending this request. So we have all these kind of cookies here and all kinds of headers, which I think I will blur because there might be something in here that I don't want to publish. But what if I copy this as curl and then I paste it here? Am I able to get the results this way? Now I got something and there's a lot of minified JavaScript in here. Now let's see, I got this result, Beatles song. So what if I do this again and I pipe it into grep Beatles? Then yes, I get it here, but this is not very easy to parse. And of course, this will violate the terms of service of Google. So let's see if there is an official API we could use. Google Search API. Custom Search JSON API. So here we can get an API key. So let me see if this is easy. If I can do it in 10 minutes, then I will do it. If not, I will use another way. All right, well, that was easy. I just got the key already. Let's save this key somewhere. Okay, I have an API key, but how do I use it? Create a programmable search engine. Control panel. Name your search engine. ChatWTF. What to search? Search the entire web. I am not a robot. Your new search engine has been created. Now I have some JavaScript in here. This is not what I want to use, but let's copy this anyway and save it here if I need it. Programmatic access. This is what I'm looking for. Custom search JSON API. Limit of 10,000 queries per day. What? That's enough for me. Get started. And now I'm back on this page. Using REST. Okay, here we go. Key parameter. Programmable search engine ID. Okay, let's see if it's actually this easy. So here I have this URL and I have my Google key here. I will copy this and I will paste it in here. And then the CX is going to be the ID of my custom thingamajig. So this. So I will paste it here. And what is OAU? What is this? Let's try. Well, request contains an invalid argument. Let's remove this OMUAUF. And let's try this one. Invalid argument. What? No, I think I need this. Sorry. I think I need to put it in quotes because I have ampersands in there. Nope. All right, now I get it working. So I didn't have to add this OMU stuff here. And I had to add quotes around the URL because I curled it, because there's some special characters in there. So now I got some search results here. I got a bunch of these. I don't even have enough in my terminal history to see everything. So let's see how do these work. Let's curl this again and let's pipe it into less so I can see it. Okay, so I got a queries property here. I will have a JSON object with queries as a property. And then there's a request. In the next page, context, search information, items. Okay, so then I have items. That's what I want. Items. And that is an array. And here, Feynman lectures. Okay, so I think every item is a search result. So then this will be a search result. And there will be a link to the link and then the title as the title. Okay. And a snippet. Okay, so I think this is exactly what I need. So now I can get the results. Okay, so let's turn this into a PHP class that we can use to search Google results and return them in a little bit of a nicer output that we can actually use. So let's create here a new folder. Let's call it source. And let's create a new file called GoogleSearchPHP. And here we will create a class. And in this class, I will save this URL. And let's put some placeholders here. API key and what was this? Search engine ID. Engine ID. And let's make a constructor. And we will get a public string API key and a public string engine ID. And then let's create a private function get URL. And this will return string replace API key engine ID with this API key and this engine ID in static URL. And then let's create a public function search, which takes a string of the search query, and it will say results equals file get contents, this get URL. And we will append q equals URL encode search query. And we will return this parse results. And let's make this an object of type search result. And let's create that parse results. Private function parse results string results. And here we have to say JSON equals JSON decode results. And then items equals JSON items. And then we will loop through the items and then create the search result objects from this. So for each of the items as item, result equals new search result. And in the search result, we will give it URL, which will be the item link. And we will have a title, which will be the item title. And we will have description, which will be the item snippet. And we will initialize here a results array, and we will add this result into the results array. And we will return the results. And this will return a search result. And then let's create that search result class. Search result, it will have a public function construct. And it will take a public string URL and a public string title and a public string description. So this should work now. So if I go here and I create a new folder and I say search test.php. And let's autoload everything. And let's say Google equals new Google search. And then we will say Google search and we will print our search. And we will name this search. And let's see how many errors we get. Warning. I need to add PHP in the end. And I forgot to pass in my parameters here, which is API key engine ID. And I will get those from here. And let's try this again. Cannot use object of type standard class as an array. Okay, it was not an array, it was an object. Sorry, I am not returning a search result. I am returning a search result array. And of course, the same thing is here. It is not returning a search result. It's an array of search results. So now we get these beautiful search result objects here for every search result on Google. Great, so now we can search Google. Let me now move this autoload into its own file. I'm not doing this with Composer this time because last time it took so long to do it. Okay, what do we do next? Let's go back to our message.php, which handles the OpenAI API, getting the response from ChatGPT. And now I would like to turn this into a class as well, because now this is just a message.php, but I don't want to have to send a new request to message.php every time. So let's create a ChatWTF class. So let's create that here, ChatWTF.php. So what should we have here? Well, we should initialize it. We should be able to get this OpenAI. So first of all, we have to have a function construct, and in it we will get a private OpenAI API key. Or should we pass in the OpenAI as an object, perhaps? And then we should have this default prompt. So let's create a private string default prompt. And let's create a setter for that. Public function set default prompt. And it will just set this default prompt will be prompt. And we should have the context, which right now is an array. So let's set a private array context. And let's make a function for adding a new thing in the context. Public function add to context. What do we add? I think we added the message. We added the question and the answer. Should we make it a class? Let's make a ChatWTF response. And this will include the question and the answer. Is that a good idea? Maybe. And I will say this context, push the response into that context. And then we have to have a method for asking a question. So public function ask, and it will get a string of question. And then it has to create the prompt. So let's say prompt equals this create prompt with the question. And let's create that. Private function create prompt and with a string of question. And it will do exactly this. So first it will set the default prompt to be this default prompt. And then if this context is empty, then we should add the sample questions, and I have to create that as well. And public function set sample questions. I think I should use the same. It should be ChatWTF ChatWTF response. Actually, it's an array questions, and ChatWTF response questions. And this will set this sample questions equals questions. And it will be an array. And then instead of adding this, because it's just an array of ChatWTF response objects, we will loop through them for each this sample questions as sample question. We will then format it like this. So we will say this, prompt dot equals question, which will be sample question, and answer will be sample question answer. And let's make the context be an array of ChatWTF responses as well. So then we have to do the same here. So context will be this context. And here I use the array slice because I can't make the context too long with the OpenAI API because there's a limit on the prompt length. So I only get the last 5 questions. So then I will say for each of the context as message, we will not get the 0th index, we will get the question and we will get the answer. And we will add this as well. And this will not be post message, this will be question, this one. And then we will return prompt. Great. So now this part is done now. Let's remove that. Then we have to do this. So here where we ask, we first create the prompt and then we send the prompt. Response will be this send prompt. And let's create private function send prompt, which will take a string prompt and it will send it to the OpenAI API. So it would be this OpenAI API. What did I call it? OpenAI API. It will send the prompt in there and it will return something. So this is the error handling kind of. So if there's a text, then the text will be that text and we convert the new lines into actual new lines. And if there's an error, then the response will be the error. Otherwise, it's going to be sorry, but I don't know how to answer that. And now let's return here a ChatWTF response, new. And let's say question will be the question. I need to pass in the question here too. Well, actually, this is not necessary. I can just have it be the ask. I don't have to say send prompt separately. I will just ask a question. So we create the prompt from the question and then we send it to OpenAI. And when we get the result, then we return question was question and answer was text. Let's rename it to answer. Great. So now this is done and this is done. And then here we convert it to HTML. I think I can add this here. And it's the answer and I will return. No, I will do this in the response. So if I want the response as the raw response, then I will just get the answer. But then if I want the formatted response, I will make another method for get formatted response. So none of this here. So let's put this here first. And let's see why we have some squiggly stuff here. I forgot this part here. And ask will return a ChatWTF response, which we will create right now. And it will be basically the same as search result. So I will copy this here, ChatWTF response. And we will have a question and we will have an answer. And we will have a public function get formatted answer. And this will do the formatting. This. Okay, I think that should be pretty much everything. Now let's go back here and I will convert this message.php to use that one. So first of all, we will say ChatWTF will be new ChatWTF, and we will give it the OpenAI API, OpenAI, and we will say ChatWTF set default prompt. Why is it not recommending? What is wrong? And it will be this. And I will need to turn this into an array of ChatWTF responses. So I will say sample questions is going to be an array of new ChatWTF response with the question being this and the answer being this, and another one is that, and the answer is this. And we don't need this at all because it is handled in the class, and we need the message, but we don't need this, and we don't need this, and we don't need that, and we don't need this either, but styled will be, well, first of all, let's call it so ChatWTF ask this. I'm missing a semicolon here. Ask. So we will say that response will be ChatWTF ask the posted message, and then the message, this will be the styled message. So this will be response get styled message. It was styled answer. It was formatted answer. And this will just be response answer. And we don't need any of this. We might log this response. Maybe I don't need name it parameters here. So now this should do exactly what it did before, but we have a class that we can hopefully use to make multiple queries to ChatGPT without doing multiple HTTP requests. So let's see if this still works. So is it still running in here? Yeah, it's still running. So let me refresh this page and I will say hello. And I will get no answer because something went wrong. Let's inspect the network tab. And actually I will check here first. Uncaught error, ChatWTF not found. I have to require my own autoloader. And let's try this again. Hello. And we get another error. Sample questions must not be accessed before initialization. I did not save them to the object. So I will do ChatWTF set sample questions. And let's try again. Hello there. I did not get an error. I did. Uncaught error opening common mark. I'm sorry. I cannot use both of these autoloaders at the same time. So let's figure out how this composer thing works. I'm just not that good with composer, so let's turn to ChatGPT. How do I make composer load classes from the src folder? Okay, this is the way to do it. Now I think I should namespace my classes as well. So let's put here ChatWTF. It will be in the source folder. And I will say namespace is ChatWTF. Should be the very first one. And here as well. Okay, let's see if this works. I think I have to do that thing. Okay, let's see if this works now. Refresh and hello, and we get a message right away that says ChatWTF response not found. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say use ChatWTF response as well. 5th time's the charm. Refresh, hello, and we get an error. Uncaught error class, common mark, sorry. Use league common mark. Refresh, hello. It works, great. So now it does exactly what it did in the beginning of this video. But it works a bit better. So now, what do we do now? Now we need to make it answer in a different way. Let's make a different class for this programmer ChatGPT first. So let's say class programmer ChatWTF extends ChatWTF, and namespace will be ChatWTF. And here we will override the constructor. We will say public function construct. It will still get the, was it public or private? Private open AI API. But in the constructor, it will set its own default prompt and sample questions. So I will copy these and I will put them here. And instead of ChatWTF, I will say this. So now I can here use instead programmer ChatWTF. So if I want to ask programming questions, I can use programmer ChatGPT. And now I'll make a Google search ChatGPT ChatWTF that will tell you what Google search should you use if you wanted to ask this. So I will say Google search ChatWTF. And now I have to set, first of all, this can be Google. And now I have to set here a different prompt for this. You are the best Googler there is. You know exactly what to type in the Google search box to get the best results. Please tell what is the best Google search term for the given question. And then I will give it a sample question. Let's say if I would ask, how do you write a hello world script in PHP? Then the answer would be how to write hello world script in PHP. And if the question was, what's the weather like in Florida? The Google search would be weather Florida. And let's put a third question here. How much money does Elon Musk have? The search term would be Elon Musk net worth. So now if I change from programmer ChatWTF to Google ChatWTF, I should get an answer back that will be a Google search term. So let's try this. Let's refresh this page and say, how tall is the Eiffel Tower? Do you even write it like that? I get some error probably. Again, common mark converter not found. Oh no, that's the old one. Google search ChatWTF not found. I forgot to use it. Google search ChatWTF. And let's put the programmer ChatWTF. And let's try it again. How tall is the Eiffel Tower? OpenAI property must not be accessed before initialization. What is wrong with this? I'm setting it here and I'm passing it in here. It's private. It should be protected. Refresh. How tall is the Eiffel Tower? Still. This is some stupid mistake now. I need to change it here. Let's try this one more time. Eiffel Tower height. Great, now it works. What is the tallest building in the world? Tallest building in the world. What's the weather like in San Francisco? I hope it's written that way. Weather San Francisco. Great. So now it knows how to create a Google search. So what will we do next? Now we will get the Google search and then pass it to the Google search. So let's try to do that. So first we ask the message from the Google search ChatWTF, and then we pass the response to the Google search API. So I forgot how to use that already. So this. So let's initialize this somewhere up here. Initialize Google search API. And then we will search the response answer. And then we will get the first response. So let's return early here. Let's exit let's exit here. And instead of this, we will say the message will be search 0 link. So this should answer with the first result, with the link to the first result of Google for the question that we asked. So we initialize the Google API and the OpenAI API. We send a message to the Google search ChatWTF, which will return with a Google search that we should do to find out the answer to this question. And then we search that Google search from Google, and we return the first link from the results. So let's refresh this and let's say, what's the tallest building in the world? And I probably need to import something. Google search not found. I put it in the ChatWTF namespace. Can I just put this namespace ChatWTF? What am I doing here? Oops, first one. Refresh. No. Okay, that was not what I wanted. I didn't call it link, I called it URL. Let's do this again. Now we get the Wikipedia link for list of tallest buildings. So now if I go here, I should find out what is the tallest building in the world. Great. How do I learn the Rust programming language? rustlang.org/learn. Great, learn Rust. Here is how you learn Rust. That is great. How about what's the weather like in Florida? Here, weather.com. Let's see what is here. Can we find out 10-day weather in Florida? Great, now it works. But now we only get the URL for the first Google search result. But now I want the actual answer from there. So how do we do that? Now, I already changed this so that you can also answer other questions. So it should be able to answer any question. So if I now pass the result of this page to programmer ChatWTF and then tell to answer the original question, then it should answer it based on that page. Now, let's see if we can actually get the text from that page, because those websites that are in the search results might be similar to Google in that they block, like if we use curl or something. So let's say this page source will be file get contents of the URL. And let's put it through like strip tags so that we don't have HTML, we have just the text. And let's just return page source, and let's do page source is substring 0 and 256, so we don't get a massive response. So let's do this first. And what's the weather like in Florida? Okay, we actually get something at least. Now there is some like styles here and stuff, because it strips the tags, but it doesn't remove things that are inside style tags. So let's do page source. Is there a good way to do this? Let's ask ChatGPT. How do I turn an HTML page into just text, remove styles and scripts, etc. with PHP? Strip tags. Well, I did exactly that. You can also use a regular expression to match and remove specific HTML tags. Okay, man, ChatGPT saves so much time. I can never remember how to exactly do this. I'm sure that was faster than if I started to write it myself. Okay, let's try this again. What's the tallest building in the world? Now we got an error. I forgot this part. Let's ask it again. List of tallest buildings, Wikipedia, document, element. Nah, we still got some scripts here. All right, I had a bit of a problem there with getting these scripts from the page, but the reason was that I was stripping the tags up here And then I was trying to replace the stuff inside the tags. But of course, it can't replace the tags if I strip them already. But now it works. So now I get the page source. So now what I can do is now I can say, well, actually I should use something. Let's say 1,000 characters from the page. So now I have the page source of the Google search. So now I have to pass this into the programmer ChatGPT. So let's do that. Let's say ChatWTF is going to be programmer ChatWTF. And we will ask the message, but first we will append page source. Like this. Sorry, we have to put this page source somewhere. I will just set the default prompt. So in fact, I will just say, I will just set the default prompt. I will say ChatWTF set default prompt to be the page source. And in fact, I don't need to have it. Let's just do this. Let's just use the regular ChatWTF, and I will set the default prompt to page source, and I will set the sample questions to sample question. And then I will ask it the message. So now the default prompt should be the text on the page, and there's no sample questions. And then it will just add the question there, and then hopefully it will answer it. And now I will remove this part, and I will get the formatted answer. Let's see if this will work. Refresh. What's the weather like in Florida? Now I think I should have some sample questions and answers, and I'm getting an error. Sorry, I was going to remove the sample questions. And let's try this again. Now I was saying that maybe I should have some sample questions because maybe it doesn't know how to answer, in what style to answer. The current weather in Florida is mostly sunny with temperatures ranging from the mid-70s to the low 80s. The forecast for the next 10 days shows mostly sunny skies and temperatures ranging from the upper 70s to low 90s. So in fact, it did answer my question. Let's say, what's the latest version of PHP? And again, I think it's 8.2 point something. Let's verify this. I saw some Facebook posts today about 8.2, but latest PHP version. 8.1.14, 15. Where did he get that? Wait a minute. Oh, it says 8.1.15 released. So yes, in fact, this is the newest version. And it was 2 days ago. So yes, now it works. So what else can we say? We could ask something about sports, but I don't know anything about sports. Who won something? Sports results. All right, let's try this one. I found this result from Eurosport.com. Real Madrid versus Valencia, 2-0. So what if I ask it, what was the result of Real Madrid versus Valencia? When was this? Yesterday. Drum roll. 2-0 victory for Real Madrid. So now it knows recent events. This is amazing. Let's search for some other news. Okay, here's the thing. I read today that the Twitter API will cost $100 a month in the future. So let me ask this. What will be the price of the Twitter API? The cost of the Twitter API varies depending on the use case and scale of the project. You can contact Twitter's sales team. Well, that was not that helpful. What was the latest controversial tweet from Elon Musk? The latest controversial tweet from Elon Musk was a tweet on May 1st in which he asked if anyone wanted to buy Tesla stock at a silly price. This tweet was considered controversial because it was seen as a way for Musk to manipulate the stock price. Let's see if this is true. I don't know about this story. A silly price. Okay, now I tried to Google this, but I could not verify this. So I think I should add here the source for where it found this. So let's do that. So this is the URL. So source URL will be this. And now I will add here to the answer source, and I will add the source URL. Okay, let's try and ask this again. The latest controversial tweet from Elon Musk was one in which he announced that funding had been secured for taking Tesla private, which resulted in him being sued by the SEC. And here is the source. Let's see what this says. And again, this is from yesterday. And look at these ads. What is this? Okay, well, this is a recent controversial tweet from Elon Musk, even though the tweet is from 2018, but the news is from yesterday. So now I have created something amazing, something better than ChatGPT. Well, not really, but I have created a version of ChatGPT that will search Google to find out the result, and it will cite its sources. Two things that I have seen many people want to have in ChatGPT. So let me know in the comments, what would you use this for and what should I use this for? And tell me how you would improve this. Now, you can also find this on my GitHub if you want to play around with yourself. You only need the API key from OpenAI, which is free up to a point. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and please let me know in the comments what you think of this video, and subscribe to my channel so you get more videos like this in the future. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.